Hi, my name is Sean Wagner, and this is my final project for my T302 class. What this video will be doing is taking thoughts and ideas on teaching and showing us how to make a better classroom. I will be using my primary focus, which is physics, and some demonstrations of physics to use as analogies to describe teaching strategies. As teachers, what we need to do is remove any misconceptions we may have about our students coming into our class. Some of them may be coming from different backgrounds, or fellow teachers may have said something about the students that give us a preconceived notion about how they'll behave in our classroom. In doing so, what we create is different tracks. Some of them may be lower or higher and determine the student's capabilities. But what we need to do is remove these tracks in our mind and treat each student as if they have the same potential to obtain success. So let's think of these marbles as our two different students. And we have two different tracks to success. What we can do is place our students at the same potential energy and show that they can both achieve success. In order to help our students achieve success, what we need to do is listen to the opinions of our students and be able to adapt our lesson plans based on what they need. So what we can do is think of these flames as our original lesson plan, and the speaker will be the students' voices, and we'll see how their opinions can change our lesson plan so we can adapt to that. So let's add a little volume to their voice. Now, as we go through from subject to subject, sometimes students' opinions will change based on what you're learning in the classroom. So to simulate this, we'll change the frequency of the speaker's output to show a change in opinion through the course, and we'll see how our lesson plans adapt. What we learned from the last demonstration is how listening to your students can help you change and adapt your lesson plans. But now let's take a look at how changing your lesson plans can help you enhance your students' learning and understanding. So let's say that this wheel represents my lesson plan, and I will be the student. Now, right now I'm just standing still and it's not really affecting me. I'm not learning. But let's get the lesson plan in motion and see what happens. So right now, I'm really not affected by it. The lesson's not going so well for me. But if we change things up, I might learn a little better. Sometimes when you change and adapt your lesson plans, it doesn't always work for every student. And when this happens, it could lead to failure to understand the topic or the lesson that you're trying to get across to them. So let's say this magnet is like our student. If we as teachers do nothing to help them with their understanding of the material, they'll just drop and fail to understand what you're trying to teach them. But if we act like the copper tube, what we can do is cushion the student's fault and help them understand in the long run. So let me assure you that there is nothing inside this copper tube. Now, what we can do is help them understand in the long run, and you will see that we can cushion their fault. What we can learn from our students is that they have a lot of pressures in their life. They have pressure from their family, from their friends, and from other outside influences. But what we can do as teachers is create a low pressure environment in which our students can thrive and learn. So let's say that the beach volleyball is like our student, and it's surrounded by a lot of high pressure from its environment. But what we can do is create a low pressure environment with this vacuum. So let's give that a try. Sometimes as teachers we have to supply a little extra work to create that good atmosphere for our students. So what we've done is added a bit of water to this pop bottle to simulate a student with a little bit more extra external pressures on him. And so what we can do is turn the vacuum on high in order to simulate us teachers working harder to get this student to thrive. So. What can be frustrating for students sometimes in your classroom is they don't see how the topics or the material you're presenting applies to their everyday life. So what's important for us to do as teachers is show them how one topic, such as physics, can relate to multiple areas in their life. So what we can do is think of this single laser beam as our topic of physics. And we can show them how it applies to multiple areas. What this interference pattern represents is the multiple areas in which physics can be applied to in the students' everyday lives. This way, they can find the topic as interesting and important to their lives rather than just a topic. I hope you enjoyed these teaching analogies. They're all ideas that I hope to bring into my classroom in the future. As a teacher, I hope to include many of the same physics demonstrations to help engage my students in the material. Thank you.